An HR executive has explained how revoking DEI initiatives actually prevents the most qualified candidate from getting hired. Many have celebrated the rollback of DEI as a triumphant return to hiring the most qualified candidate, rather than supposedly playing favorites. When in reality, despite all the noise, DEI is actually about fairness. Molly, who is a seasoned HR executive known as HR Explained on TikTok, has explained this in a video where she talks about how foolish the uproar over DEI is. She stresses that DEI was never about hiring somebody who is unqualified over somebody who is qualified. DEI initiatives are meant to address biases in organizations, to ensure that procedures such as hiring and pay are unimpeded by unintended discrimination. Whether they actually succeed at doing that or not largely comes down to leadership, because DEI is, after all, a framework of initiatives. But this is, of course, not what a lot of people seem to think DEI is. Our history is the history of class struggle, and inheriting wealth has been a long-standing prerequisite to gaining wealth. So our country has been run on nepotism and generational money, which has enforced the racial wealth gap as things like denying reparations for slavery and redlining pushed against the struggle for black liberation, for example. What did Kendrick say? 40 acres and a mule. This is bigger than the music. DEI essentially just works to hire somebody who is actually qualified at their job, as opposed to somebody who is rich and well-connected but sucks at their job. But this has led to idiots crying every time they see a black person on TV. And if anybody remembers the Boeing plane crash fiasco where people were blaming DEI, women, black people with no evidence, turned out it was profit-seeking corner cutting that gutted safety regulations. So misunderstanding DEI and falsely blaming things for it can have very serious consequences. If that's surprising to you, then it might be time to consider why. Because you really shouldn't be celebrating the dismantling of programs that benefit you. And take notice that people that you've trusted to explain DEI to you are using it maliciously in order to unravel worker protections. Remember that if you really want to look after the best interest of the working class, DEI is not the big boogeyman that you think it is.